Ramble.
Thank you to Anchor, Sleep Number, and Native for sponsoring this episode of the podcast.
Wow, it's a new year of the TryPod. You got your Try Guys back. We make YouTube videos. You know that. You probably found us through them. But we are here talking about everything that's going on this new year. Our resolutions, things going on in the world, movies we liked and didn't like. You get it. It's that kind of thing. It has been a wonderful, personal new year for me so far. I've been able to keep up staying healthy for 6 days.
That's great.
And something new that I'm doing right now, everybody, is trying out different types of heartburn medication.
Wow.
Discuss.
I didn't realize that was something that you were suffering from.
Well, it came about when I was eating less healthy during the holidays.
Heartburn.
And it wasn't just heartburn. I have this thing going on. It feels like I dry swallowed a pill. And it's just there.
You know what I learned this holiday is that it's possible for when you dry swallow a pill for it to get stuck, and then you get like an ulcer in your throat, and it burns away a hole in your throat.
gosh.
So you may have a pill stuck in
New
that.
year, new hole in your throat.
Well, I think it's just I ate too many garbage foods.
Are ulcers holes? I don't actually know what they are.
Yeah, they're
that's
kind of like
I mean,
holes.
in its extreme degree, that's what it is.
So I think I actually have some sort of like minor ulcer in my throat, and that's just what I've been dealing with for the last month, and it's terrible.
That makes me think of one time. So my dad's a doctor. I don't know if you guys knew that, but one time when I was in high school, I shadowed him at the hospital. Just, a day visiting your dad's
shadowed.
work.
I also heard
shadowed.
shatter.
I was like, oh my God, man.
Shattered him.
I shadowed.
I played him in touch football, and I shattered that bitch.
Shattered him.
But one thing that he showed me that we saw was like a surgery. I got to watch a surgery. And the surgery that they were doing was something to control extreme heartburn. So imagine that your heartburn is so bad, medication's not working. What they can do is actually take a little bit of your esophagus near where it hits your stomach. Now your esophagus maybe is like too wide, and that's what's happening, why there's like stomach acid getting back up into your esophagus. What they'll do is they'll take your esophagus, they'll stretch out a little fold of skin, and then they'll fold it back over in on itself to like tighten your esophagus and make it smaller. Are we getting older? Is this why we're talking about heartburn on the podcast?
I'm sure that all our young people are. But you know what? College kids get a heartburn. That's when you start getting it.
Everybody gets heartburn.
I also think it's genetic for some people.
And I have always realized, like, in this last year or so of getting heartburn more, that my mom always had Tums and what's the kind that dissolves in water? The
Water dissolved Tums.
Alka-Seltzer. She always had both of those things. I take Pepsid AC and I take Tums, and I went to the doctor, and we did this cool thing. We did this thing to see if there was weird microbes in my stomach. So I drank this sour juice, and then I breathed into a bag, and they sent my breath to a lab.
Yes.
And no, my stomach is normal.
I had to do that once. It's weird.
It's associated actually more with Asians, because something in their food, like typically their stomachs will have it if they have like a acid reflux problem, but it's not like not a solution for white people.
You mean having heartburn?
No, having this certain
bacterial
some type of
overgrowth or
bacteria
something,
in their
I forget.
stomach that can be fixed. I guess it actually maybe is something that could be more prone to Asians, or maybe from Asian food or something
It's
like that.
weird how so many Asian things are so prone to stuff genetically.
know
I don't
what
think
I'm
I've ever
saying?
had heartburn.
You've never had heartburn?
I don't think I've ever had heartburn.
Oh, it's
the
unpleasant.
closest I felt to it is throwing up.
Yeah, it's like that.
But I don't think I've ever actually been like, oh, I have pain here because of something.
Eating too much.
Yeah, I've never had that.
It's not from eating too much. It's from eating the wrong things. It's eating
really?
like really
No.
acidic foods.
Or it's like, have you ever taken a multivitamin on an empty stomach and your stomach gets a little jumbly?
No.
You've never done it, or you've never
No, I've done it, but I've
experienced-
never experienced the jumbleness.
Man, Eugene,
Yeah.
you don't get hangovers. You don't get heartburn.
Well-
These are two things that everyone should get.
Well,
So-
everyone gets different
deserve
things,
I can't
right?
recommend it enough. If you've never had the heartburn,
You
everyone should try
You gotta
it.
try it.
I like it because it gives me empathy
Here,
with others.
Let's talk about how each of our bodies are slowly decaying.
Uh-huh.
So I think for
my
me,
knees are fucked up.
Oh, you want to play this
Yeah.
game,
You
bro?
wanna
You
do
want to do this?
New year old
Zach
me.
wins. Zach wins.
You're me.
I think I've noticed that I definitely have more of a hearing problem than other people because of the way I've listened to music my whole life.
Oh no.
And I think this is probably universal for most people in entertainment because my family likes to watch things super low volume. Like my dad, my sisters are just, and anytime I put it
I'm
on,
taking my jacket off.
so I think a lot of kids can relate to this, but I do worry. I'm like, it's funny because it's so antithetical to what's actually happening because I'll turn to them and say like, God, your hearing must be terrible. It's my instinct because I'm like, why are you listening to slow? And they go, no, your hearing's terrible because you want to pump it up to, say the bar on the sound is like 1 to 100. I always need 50 or higher. That's like my thing.
70
They want to listen to
higher.
it like 10 to 20.
Also, there's some TVs, like my TV in my living room, like the low volume is 6 and the loud volume is 11. But it goes to like 50. But 11, it's like loud.
But I think I've always been someone who I pump music loud in my car. When I watch movies, I want it to be blasting me.
It's
so
the cinematic experience.
A lot of people hate it.
Well, I surrounded by the sound.
A lot of people don't
ever
like
since
it.
we had a baby, the volume on the TV has been a topic of extreme debate.
This is a universal issue.
Yes. And it's gotten to the point where Ariel wants to watch everything with subtitles. And I'm like, first of all, don't get me wrong, subtitles are fine. I love me some foreign films. But if we watch it on everything, then I do nothing but read my movie.
Miss the action.
I can't look at it and appreciate it. I just read the entire thing. And I'm like, can we turn a little bit louder? And Ariel's worried about the baby. And I'm like, he's like a toddler now. He sleeps fine. And also he'll sleep through like
If you don't get him used to it now, he'll never. You gotta start him.
Loud sound machine in his room. I mean, it's just like blasting snowy noise, white noise everywhere. Like, it drives me nuts. But I had a realization the other day that Ariel usually sits on a part of the couch that's kind of hidden by a wall, and I usually sit on a part of the couch that's more open to the hallway. And when our heat goes on, there's a lot of noise coming from the hallway, and I realize she's sitting in the little sound enclave, whereas I have all of the white noise of our house doing its HVAC things, and we switched places, and it got a lot better. But 13 is our magic number that makes everyone happy.
13 out of what?
I don't know, probably 100.
6,000.
But
it's like it's Keith's thing, where it's like 13 is pretty loud.
Uh-huh.
15 would be like, please turn it down.
Please.
So we agree that we're all probably losing our hearing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
we're all
played in
totally
bands
losing our
for
hearing. Yeah,
7 years, and I sat right in front of like trombones.
I'm at the point. I'm at the point now. I go to a lot of concerts. I've gone to concerts my entire life, and that's part of my hearing loss. And I now am like, oh, I should be wearing earplugs when I go to concerts, but I don't want to be that fucking narc in the corner.
You know
I'm like,
what?
Who's that cop standing over there nodding his head with little orange nub sticking in his ear?
You know where else they offer that is workout classes.
Oh, I do that.
So some people wear the earplugs in workout classes.
I have no shame.
I can't do that. I have to like hear the music.
No,
in
no,
my
no.
soul.
When I go to those places where they are screaming at me, blasting music, like, "Come on, you little bitch, push it,
No, where are you? Where are you from? Where are
you know,
going?
I mean, just sailing next to Zach is pretty tough.
I thought you only go to yoga.
No. I've been doing some rowing classes. I'm seeing stars from that
Yeah,
screaming.
that was a lot.
Oh, you talking about like
That's
lit
big.
method?
Lit method.
So that's like a rowing circuit class.
Wait, it's called Lit Method?
Yeah, bro, I get lit.
LA, baby.
That's awesome.
But I can't stand it, and it screams, and it hurts my ear, and it takes me out of it. So I started putting earplugs. I've got no shame there. And you know what? Maybe I need to be that shameless from the rest of my life. Thanks, Eugene, for that piece of advice. That'll go for miles.
But we're definitely
good
gonna
friends.
go.
You can get like cool headphones or earplugs. I mean, like ones that have like a sweet design.
You know, there are...
There are like those noise diffusing headphone earplugs, right? That they keep the quality of sound. They just lower the volume rather than like.
Are
when you-
those the ones that you can also adjust the volume as well?
Yeah, because there's like the foam earplugs you wear when you want to sleep on the plane and you want to
It
block out
muffles
most
the
sound.
music.
But it
I don't
muffles.
like
That's
that.
not what you want.
You guys remember when you were a teenager, you got like your first pair of headphones, maybe with a CD player. It's like you got a CD player with headphones.
I wasn't excited about the headphones. I was excited about the CD player back then.
Yeah, but like the first time like hearing it loud through headphones, it's like you can control your own volume, you can listen to the music that you like, and all of a sudden, that's probably when we lost our hearing. Because I remember just being very excited to listen to a little too loud CDs.
What'd you listen to?
I liked Red Hot Chili Peppers. I liked Nirvana.
How long? I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Love that one.
I think
my
it
mom
was-
would be like, "Turn it down." I'd be like, "Can't tell me what."
Nah,
to
man,
do.
I think it for a lot of us was the iPod.
right.
I think that
Yeah.
fucked us
Yeah.
because they're so you could just wear them. We used to wear them on like our R-bands when we used to
Oh, I
work
was
out.
never
the
that
big
cool.
ones or on
Never
the,
that
the waist
I
belt.
didn't have one.
Yeah, and
I
that's
didn't
when you
get
could
one
like
till the Nano.
fast forward super fast. You have like 500 songs on it. It would just be like Britney, Rihanna. Okay, everyone knows I'm gay, but better to work out to. And I was just like gunk, gunk, gunk every workout. Anywhere I walked, I put my iPod on. I couldn't walk anywhere without having an iPod on.
You know what I just realized about your potential hearing loss, Eugene? Every time we go out to karaoke, there's in the front, there's the knobs. I'm not going to draw us into a long karaoke chat again. I know we get there a lot. But you always, as we're partying, you'll go up front and you'll turn it up louder. And then when you're not looking, I turn it down.
I want to hear the music really pump up.
It is pumped, but it like gets to it. We're in a tiny box and it gets deafening. And we all scream when we sing. And I just go and I just turn it down a couple notches. I look after the family.
I'm only doing it when you're about to sing.
Yeah. I'm kidding. The least needed for me to be louder. What'd you do over? We touched base right before break.
Oh, I saw Ned in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
funny.
We hung out in Dirty Dude.
Yeah.
Actually, we were in St. Johns County, which is
What a flip.
one to the south. No,
Yeah, it's funny being in someone's hometown, especially somewhere like Jacksonville.
yeah.
It's
What'd
just
you like about it? I mean, you went to the beach.
no.
have fun.
It was kind of rainy while we were there.
It was a little rainy while we were
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Florida.
Jacksonville has its rainy days.
Yeah.
But like it was your favorite place ever,
But, like,
right?
what was the best part about the rain?
Well, I guess the best part is finding out my boyfriend's sister, who's pregnant, is going to have her baby at your dad's hospital.
Oh.
So that was kind of cool to
Connection.
connect that.
Connection.
Yeah.
Big town, small world.
And my boyfriend's mom was immediately like, "Let me get your number, just
Yeah.
like, just in case."
Yeah, your boyfriend's mom
need, like,
and
a
my
fast
mom
in.
are like buds now.
Yeah, because
They're
they got that
friends. They
like
exchange digits.
they got that Italian American mom
right,
thing
Right.
going.
They're both Italian American.
Yeah.
Both talk about gourmet stuff
Mhm, like wine.
like wine.
Yeah.
Panettone. Oh, Wes ate so much panettone. It's this Italian Christmas bread that's kind of sweeter with fruit in it. It's my favorite. But he was like nonstop. Just wanted he was like, Tony, can I have more Tony? He just kept saying Tony.
very
And we
cute.
would feed him bread.
Is there a moment when you introduce him to your favorite things that you kind of hold your breath of like,
Oh, yeah,
this, my son
absolutely.
of mine better love what
Oh,
I love.
I hope that he liked it for sure. Yeah. And then when he did, I was like, "This my boy."
I remember the first time that moment happened was when Ariel was talking about how they gave Wes different things for breakfast, and Wes really liked sausage. And I looked over at Ned, and he was like,
Yeah, that's right. And now he's like a lot more. He can talk about stuff, so he'll actually point at the couch and say, "Daddy, baseball," which actually is his word for football. Because on Sundays we'll watch football together. It's kind of like the one
cute.
time we break the no TV under 3 rule. And now it's a fun thing that we do together.
So
Unlike
thinking
there's no
about that,
football on today.
what I think I tried to do actually was doing nothing.
Over vacation.
That's
Which is
nice.
very difficult for me because
Jacksonville's so
I
fun.
split it up. Well, I split it up with Jacksonville with my boyfriend's family and then Austin with my family. My family's very different from other families. So my dad doesn't spend half the day with us even when we're on vacation because he has to go golf. Then he goes to the gym. Then he does yoga every day.
Wow.
He's gone until 2 p.m. Doesn't even matter if we're there
Does
for
he does
vacation.
that by himself, or he has like a
He has
group of
buddies. He has
buds?
like a group of Korean guys in Austin.
Nice.
And then while
By
he's
the way,
doing
though,
that,
if that's the secret sauce, it works.
yeah, he looks good. He's got a 6-pack. He's over 70.
works.
But
He looks better than me.
yeah, when me and my sister who was there, we wake up and we're like, what the fuck are we going to do? And we go, I guess we're going to go work out and then also work on our computers. So we do that half of the vacation. Like that's every vacation for us. But then with my boyfriend's family, they were like 10 a.m., pop open the wine, sit around, eat cookies all day, like maybe go somewhere and walk around a little bit. I was like, what?
When we were scheduling our lunch, we had to do it like at 1 rather than 12 because Eugene said, "Oh, we're going to do a candy cane making class
Yeah,
this
there's
morning."
this leisure stuff. that I was like,
I'm
I don't know what
sorry.
that
I'm
is.
sorry, we haven't heard anything about this.
I'm sorry. Eugene is suddenly the more domesticated than Ned and Ariel.
This wasn't my decision. This
I know
was-
it wasn't.
My boyfriend's sister scheduled this.
A candy cane cane making class.
Yeah.
And then they brought their candy canes to lunch, and they looked great.
Yeah, it was all right. It was like families there, and then they show it. You know how they make candy canes and
No.
candy?
I have no
They
idea.
melt the material down to like this temperature that's so hot that it's pliable, and they basically like taffy it up a bit, and then they swirl it up, and then they cut it, and then once it's cut, it's like in a pliable form where you can shape it before it dries.
You do it with gloves so you don't burn your hands.
Well, so they did everything until the point where you shape it. So it's kind of
Ugh.
it was kind of shitty because you were watching them make it, and they just hand you the chunk to shape. But it was very funny because we were there with like, I don't know, 10 different families with kids, and then everyone turned and started watching me because everyone's making their candy cane shapes, and I'm making flowers, I'm making deer, and then they started handing me their canes and saying, "Can you make my son a Mickey Mouse?" And I said, "Yep, this is
just
my life.
became a clown.
I'm the clown man."
Balloon clown.
Keith, if you could make one candy cane in shape, what would you make?
Oh, it'd be a boner.
Yeah, of
100%. I mean, like, that's the thing about, I love when life presents art opportunities to you, because every single one, I choose boner. And I was talking with Becky last night about what makes that image so hilarious. And it's just because it's so cartoonish. It looks like a balloon. The word boner, it just makes you smile. It's just so funny. Like, it's not like, penis, that's amateur, dick, gross, cock, blech, how dare you say that? But boner. It makes me laugh so much. It's funny to make any art, anything, any sort of artistic boner, whether it's like ketchup on a plate.
Yeah.
We were drawing on an iPad yesterday. Big boner. Almost uploaded it to an art gallery, but didn't.
Ned got a new iPad, and so the first thing that Keith and I drew on it was a boner.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very
we went to
much,
go publish, and we're like, maybe we won't.
What's that movie where Jonah Hill draws a bunch of dicks?
Oh,
Superbad.
Superbad.
That's a good
What'd you
scene.
think of the
That
end
scene
credits
was-
to Superbad?
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was a little too graphic.
Yeah.
But it was like amazing. There were such inventive dicks.
Guys, welcome to a movie chat that's 15 years late. We're going to talk about Superbad.
You must have loved American Vandal on Netflix.
Yes. So
Yeah,
good.
the whole first
Oh,
season
yeah.
is just a joke about drawing boners everywhere,
And the different
desecrating a
styles.
school full of different styles
Yeah.
of boners.
Season 2, criminally underrated. One of the
Super good.
It was
Yeah.
also very good. That's just a great show.
great show. One of the most underrated of the decade, I'd say.
Eugene, I sweat a lot.
Oh boy, do you?
And listeners, if I'm talking about sweat, then I'm about to talk about native deodorant, because it is a natural deodorant that I love. First of all, it's safe. It's formulated without aluminum, parabens, or talc. It's also vegan and never tested on animals, which I love.
Yeah, and I don't like things that I don't know the ingredients.
Right, exactly. And this has ingredients, it's made with ingredients you've heard of, like coconut oil and shea butter.
But does it actually work?
It does work. And it has great scents. You got your coconut and vanilla. You got your lavender and rose. You got your cucumber and mint, and eucalyptus and mint if you want to open up those sinuses. I use the unscented formula. It goes on smooth, keeps me feeling fresh. I don't like scented things. I don't want to smell like anything. I want to walk into a room and people just say, nothing happened.
But what if I want to smell like something?
Oh, you can totally smell it. There's plenty of other flavors. Just for me, flavors.
Yum, yum, yum.
They kind of look like push pops, deodorant sticks. You get it. Anyway, don't eat it. Don't eat it. There really are over 9,000 5-star reviews, so you don't have to just take it from me here at the TryPod. There's a lot of other people who back this, so it's a real thing that really works and is good.
Well, for 20% off your first purchase, visit nativedeodorant.com and use promo code TRYGUYS during checkout.
That's right. That's 20% off your first purchase by going to nativedeodorant.com and using promo code TRYGUYS during checkout.
Speaking of movies and TV, we have discussed a lot of the preamble to the movie Cats, but Cats finally came out, and most of you saw it. We know the audience.
I don't know. That's a stretch.
Half of us saw it.
Did only you two see it?
Only Zach and I saw
A
it.
record-breaking film. It's been #1 at the box office 17 weeks in a row.
Okay, so we know the audience doesn't love Cats, hearing about Cats, but we know they want to hear some. So we're going to do a segment called 5 Minutes on the Clock for Cats, where we give Zach and Eugene and others 5 minutes on the clock to discuss Cats. And once that's it, that's it.
That's it. Look, we were away on vacation, or we pre-recorded some of these podcasts.
Yes.
So Cats came out. Or Ned's starting a timer.
I'm starting the timer, and I will let you know that me and Keith will exclusively try and divert the conversation towards Star Wars,
That
a
is
movie that I saw
rude
twice,
and not the
instead
segment.
of saying Cats once. Ready, set, go!
Boom.
Okay. So Cats came out when we were not filming this, so we want to just catch up on it. Cats if you know by now, is one of the worst reviewed movies in history. It is one of the biggest box office bombs in history. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Eugene and I put together. Yeah, it's a tremendous bomb.
I think it had lost like a
over
$90 to $100 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
I thought it would be the type of movie that was bad, but people would still go see it.
No,
That's those who decided to see
Only
it.
people like us.
Oh.
Yeah.
because from the beginning it entered this uncanny valley. I don't need to retread history. You know why you didn't see it. It's crazy looking. What people have not understood is that I don't like the musical Cats. In fact, I'm sorry to say, I think it's a very bad musical.
You didn't even know what the musical was before you went in.
Not really.
Yeah. But the common consensus for people who've seen the musical is that it's a bad musical.
Yeah.
It's one that is like, no one understands why it was so successful besides that it was Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Alex Lewis loves it.
It's like light speed skipping. There's too much going on. Anyways.
He has weird judgments.
So for our screening, we got together a crew of 16 people.
16 people,
A bunch of friends, wide-ranging. We had Ian from Smosh. We had old BuzzFeed friends.
Chris Reinecker was there.
Jared Popkin
was there.
Kelsey Dara,
Because we all met, we pre-gamed, we were ready. And what was awesome is that the entire screening, it was like people came out for the camp. We had different groups of people who were all doing the same thing.
It was like a 4 p.m. on a Saturday. Yeah. But what's interesting is that there's different groups of people who clearly eventually get on the same ship. One is people who go in thinking it's going to be okay, usually with kids, and then they leave 10 minutes into the movie. There was
We had
actually
two
two families that walked out of the theater.
Whoa.
And then there's the one person who thought they were seeing like Dreamgirls because Jennifer Hudson's in it, or they thought they were seeing something good. And there was a woman behind me who's like, why is everyone laughing? Why is everyone laughing?
No,
and
she
then
goes
by
in
the
there,
end,
she goes, "Why y'all laughing? They just cats."
but then by the end, she was also with her friend going, oh, this is bad. This is very bad. I get it. Yeah.
My favorite was before the movie started, a woman sauntered in with her red wine and goes, "Who's ready to get jellicle, bitches?" And it just set the tone for the screening. We
I
were
think
all
it's-
like, yes,
yeah,
this
when
is
it-
Rocky Horror. I really truly believe that this is the next The Room. They're going to be
The
screenings
next The Room, yeah.
for the next 20 years. There's going to be like cult lines where we all know where we scream and sing along. It's so bad on a different level of something you've never experienced that you start to lose your mind halfway through the movie. And then you go insane, and then you transcend through the other side like a baby reborn. And the last 30 minutes get so fucking crazy. Like there's a point in the middle where you legitimately want to blow your brains out. Like you're just, I need to leave this.
It's bad.
But then you push through and you're like, I kind of love this. Oh my God, I really love this. What the fuck is going on? Judi Dench is revealing her crotch, then staring into the camera. They just killed Jennifer Hudson. The movie ends. When it cut to black, Eugene was next to me. I screamed louder than I've ever screamed in any movie. And it was a scream.
The entire audience did.
Of agony, of jubilation, of disbelief. This was,
Wait, it just ends suddenly?
No. It's
to me, it did.
the scariest thing is this isn't ruining too much, but the last musical number.
You can spoil it.
Judi Dench, who's essentially like the pack leader, literally breaks the fourth wall and sings to you. It is the most disturbing moment in cinema history.
Okay, but no, they send Jennifer Hudson off into a balloon to presumably kill her. Then Judi Dench stares into the camera for a 4-minute song singing about how cats are not dogs. And you're supposed to assume this is the grand takeaway. This is the message of the movie. And then it cuts back and Jennifer Hudson is still floating and hasn't really gotten that much further. And then it cuts to black. And that's when I went, no!
I think the thing about Cats is that it's going to go down as like there's so many
1 minute left.
There's so many good bad movies, but this was bad.
Yeah.
Like when you see Rocky Horror, it's good, but it knows it's campy, so it's a camp good. When you see something like The Room, it's bad. It's so bad that it's just bad.
Well,
but
nothing's ever been made like that.
Nothing's
So
been
it's-
ever made,
it's
but
an
it's like
anomaly.
cheap
I feel
bad.
this is
But
right.
with Cats, it's so bad, but the entire production, it's so expensive. And every creative decision made, no one questioned Tom Hooper. It was just like, you have to, if you enjoy this movie,
Hubris incarnate.
you have to go in kind of
20
like
seconds.
buying into the entire experience and deal. And I think that if you do that, it becomes one of the best cinematic experiences you could ever have.
Get drunk, go with, or high, go with friends. Will you see it again?
Yeah, I'll see it high with friends, probably at a party.
I will see it again.
Yeah.
You guys are coming with me. This
And
has
that's
been
time.
5 minutes on Cats.
That's
Wow.
time.
Woo!
I want to add one thing that happened. It's not about cats, but Becky went to see Bombshell when I went to see Star Wars the second time with my brother. And Becky said the movie was pretty good, but she sat next to this bizarre New York-esque couple of old ladies who had commentary the whole time. And she just said a moment that she was like upset about it, but then realized it was so surreal and funny she was on board, because some scene happens and then the old woman just yells at the top of her lungs, "Oh, come on, she sucked his cock."
Oh, whoa.
In like a Saturday afternoon screening of Bombshell. And Becky was like, "Wow, this is unbelievable. This is the most amazing experience." But the classic audience participation is the one guy who tries to snipe the perfect joke in the trailers. You know, the one guy who's waiting and the trailers happen, then he goes, "Oh yeah!" Sometimes it lands and it's amazing, and sometimes it doesn't, and it's equally amazing. I've never been that guy, but there's always that guy.
We had that experience during The Last Jedi, Eugene and I, during the Laura Dern hyperspace jump when it cuts to silence. One guy just went, "Yeah!" where it was, he couldn't control his...
No, he like stood up.
Yeah,
it was
I bet
fantastic.
he knew that's when it was.
No, it was
opening
Thursday.
night. Yeah.
Everyone,
Wow.
but like it broke the ice. Everyone laughed.
He also
It
looked
was
like
great.
comic book guy from Simpsons, so it was perfect.
Loved it.
He was just like boner everywhere across his body.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to bury and kill nostalgia in media. And what I mean by that is I think the extremes are bad. So you have Cats, which is an extreme where it's just assuming that old things are inherently good and better, which is not true. That musical sucked, but we have nostalgia for it, so we remade it. And I know you guys have some disagreement here, but I think Star Wars was held back by its nostalgia, by the idea of, I think it's creatively corrosive. I think it's this idea of, oh, hey, this worked, so let's not do something new. People were mad at Rian Johnson for doing too many new things. Some of them justified, a lot of them not, in my opinion. And I think that this installment took a step back because it was too adhering to nostalgia.
But it's funny because per the Ghostbusters trailer, like nostalgia, like people, you wanted Star Wars to be better, right? Because you do care about the franchise because you have a nostalgic love for it.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
the amount of nostalgia kind of ruined it. But the same way with Ghostbusters, I like how this new Ghostbusters look, but it also doesn't look funny.
Yeah.
And that worries me because it's a comedy. Like that's the origins of that for me. Nostalgic are seeing a funny movie with ghosts that looks really good.
It looks
but also very
sentimental.
serious and not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I had an interesting experience like that where I recently watched the original Lion King because I had never seen it. We talked about it, so it was a whole thing. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to watch it. And I'm in a position where I watched the remake before I watched the original. And I'm like, hey, guys, I thought the remake was pretty good. And now watching the original, I realized that, so many of the things that people like about The Lion King isn't the inherent story or the music, which are both great, but it's the comedic elements, the facial expressions of the animated characters, which is totally lost on the beautiful sweeping CGI shots.
So what was your experience watching it for the first time?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, it was like I got so much more out of it. Also watching it with a kid, that can like point and look at all the animals. Mm-hmm. But that movie, after the beautiful opening, it introduces Scar by him like smashing a mouse with his hand, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. And then, so his dad dies.
Yeah, not
right.
to mention
Horrific.
that.
In a horrific
a
way.
dad death.
I don't know what the chicken or the egg of this situation, but kids are pretty obsessed with death. And I think that if you haven't seen John Mulaney's Sack Lunch Bunch, one of the greatest things I watched over vacation, and that's one of the a theme of it is kids talking about their fears and anxieties. And I loved that show honored that kids are scared of things and are anxious about things and have complex thoughts. But I don't know, that was a thing I was obsessed with as a kid. And I
think when you get into that elementary school age, you start kind of knowing what death is, but not really. So it's like a fun thing to pretend to be dead. Like when you're in like the pool and you're like dead man's float and you're like, I'm dead.
Yeah. Or like
I'm dead.
Like play fighting, like karate, kung fu.
Then you're dead.
When I was a little kid, all the time.
I used to always lie and pretend I was dead to see if anyone would notice I was dead. And when they wouldn't notice I was dead, or when my parents would see me and be like, oh, he's playing dead, I would get really sad because I go, oh, everyone doesn't care about me. Weren't you a little sad kid like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Everyone
oh, no
has
one
that
cares.
moment.
But really, I look back and I'm like, they just thought I was a bullshit little like troll.
I remember I'd be
pretending like I was dead.
I'm gonna run away, and then I'd run away and wait in the forest, and then no one would notice.
What's the furthest you guys got from home when you ran away?
Less than a mile every
yeah, less
time.
than a
Like in the woods, waiting to hear my parents be like, "Where's Miles?"
Miles!
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys? I fully tied a blanket of things to the end of a stick. Yeah, like the child, like our cartoons. Like, I'm going. This is how you leave. You tie the corners around a stick and you put it over your shoulder.
You find a railroad.
You make a grand declaration and you walk.
But then your limit is always dinner time.
Yeah.
Well, you just walk and then you realize they're not coming after you. Then you're upset that nobody cares about you. Then you go back to be like, how could you not come after me? I am your son.
And they
I
say,
have a stick with a bag, which is really a blanket. And you
final.
take your essentials, which are like a couple stuffed animals, some toys you like, and a shirt. There's no food, no water,
No clean underwear.
No,
just
nothing.
some toys you like.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Teddy, you're coming with me. Bunny, you're going to have to stay. You're the man of the house now.
Hey, this is Keith. I'm one of the Try Guys with the TryPod. If you've ever wanted to start your own podcast, you might think you need all kinds of equipment to set it up.
it turns out all you need is Anchor.
Anchor is an all-in-one free tool from Spotify that lets you create your own podcast and get it heard everywhere.
With Anchor, you can record, edit, be heard on all listening platforms, and they'll even pair you with sponsors to help you get paid for your show.
It all works in your web browser or right from Anchor's mobile app. And best of all, it's totally free.
Make your podcast with Anchor today by going to anchor.fm/tripod. That's anchor.fm/tripod.
I don't really remember running away from home, but I definitely remember pretending that I was dead or at least seriously hurt. Did I tell this story on the podcast? This is one of the most embarrassing, awful stories.
I don't know.
Well, I'm excited.
I was playing outside in the snow at a friend's house, but it was like my mom's friend, so it was just me. Me playing by myself in the backyard. And I was rolling a big ball of snow and I saw a rock on the ground. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be funny and cool if I pretended that I hit my head on the rock? So then I lay on the ground. They're like, ugh, lifeless. Ugh. And then my mom says, Ned, are you okay? And I say, I hit my head on a rock. And she says, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, no. I'm just laying there. And she says, I'm calling 911. And my mom called 911. And an ambulance came. Wow. And paramedics came to check me out and see if my head was okay.
You were just trapped
But
in
at
a lie.
this point, I was pot committed. I was in too deep. I couldn't tell them. I couldn't tell anyone that I was making it all up.
Wow.
So when they asked me questions like, do you know what day of the week is? Do you know what your name is? I would try to be
11th day.
I don't know, Saturday.
Oh no.
And I tried to kind of be like a little hazy, but not exactly lying, because I figured that would be bad. And they took me to the hospital to check me out further.
No.
And then the doctor said, well, I'm pretty sure everything's fine, but we should probably give him a CAT scan to be sure.
Oh my God.
Wow, Ned, that's so expensive. Every single part of this is a fortune. The ambulance, the ER visit, the CAT scan. This is all, each one of those things is a fortune.
It's horrible. I feel terrible about it. I mean, my dad was a doctor, so we had good health insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
When
Yeah.
did you tell them?
When?
Right now.
I didn't tell them for years.
Oh my God.
I kept this secret
Of
for about
course.
a decade.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I told them when I was like 15, 16.
And what was their response?
They were like, oh, okay.
Don't do that again?
Yeah, we do remember that. We were really worried about you. Don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, maybe West one day will do
Oh,
that.
God, no, that's, I
What?
hope not.
Fake.
West trips, and you're like, you're not fooling me, dude.
We have already taken that boy to the ER like 3 times. It's like you freak out as a parent.
Well, you came clean about something. I need to come clean about something that was said in a previous podcast.
Oh, wow.
This is a redaction. A redaction issued by Miss Mrs. Becky Habersberger, who demands I do a redaction. In a previous podcast, I said that we went to the dentist and I had no cavities and she had 7. She did not have 7. She had 3, maybe 4, she says. She said, in quote, I besmirched her name. And then I was like, how did you even listen to this? You don't listen to the podcast. She's like, I listened to that one and I've listened to one other one. And then I said, well, you don't really watch my style of humor anyway. And she's like, well, I'm not your audience. And then she went on to say, if you ate chicken in a makeup store or something, like if you reviewed chicken and also face wash, maybe I'd watch. And then we went to a whole conversation about, she's like, I skim them. I give you the view. But she did watch. When she finds out she's mentioned in a podcast, people tell her online, and then she goes in and listens to it. So she found out that I was incorrect and wished for me to redact the incorrect statement.
Well, maybe we should besmirch your name just to even it out.
I think so.
Keith just shot himself right here, right now.
I always am.
Have we ever shared the celebrity that Becky is convinced you look like?
Oh, I don't know.
God.
Is this besmirching her name
my
more?
God.
I don't know.
No, maybe
it is kind of besmirching.
No,
her
because
name.
she'll find like 1 or 2 people who agree with her, and then she'll feel validated.
Yeah.
Say. She thinks I look like Shawn Mendes.
This is the funniest thing.
I don't.
But Eugene,
Isn't that just because Becky really likes Shawn Mendes?
She just loves Shawn Mendes. She loves me, and she's decided that since we're both tall, that's it.
Okay.
That's called avoiding cognitive dissonance.
This was myself, Keith, Becky, and Maggie, Zach's girlfriend. We were at like or Keith wasn't there yet, and we were at this like after party at VidCon. Everyone else was at this other party, and me, I was like editing furiously to get this other video out. The other guys were somewhere else, and so I was, drinking by myself, and then Becky and Maggie come in. And then Becky somehow just mentioned, she says, oh, like Shawn Mendes, who looks just like exactly like Keith. And Maggie and I just stopped, and I just couldn't let her continue the conversation because I turned to her and I just like immediately said, you are objectively wrong.
I tell her this all the time.
And then it became this like hour-long hilarious conversation where Becky's like really trying to reinforce how much Keith looks like Shawn Mendes. And I got to a point where I said, one, Maggie looks more like Shawn Mendes. My boyfriend looks more like Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, but like Keith, he's just tall and like white and they have like the same face. And I said, those are 3 very vague descriptions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a photo of Shawn Mendes right now, and like, I guess I see what they're saying, but it's only because he's like tall and white and
big mouth.
Also has a longish face.
I'm gonna see if I can screenshot and draw glasses on Shawn Mendes.
I mean,
it's very
I'm sweet,
humorous.
like Shawn.
Sweet guy.
But
I'm a sweetie.
He's a very handsome man. So this isn't against
Not
Keith.
as handsome.
This is just
as
they
Shawn
have a
Mendes.
different. They have a very different look.
He's very
He
hot.
has a very sharp
He's
jaw.
in great shape.
Yeah, they don't look like each other. That was the point. But Becky, in her sweetest, like most hilarious moment, we just couldn't let it go. And when Keith walked back in, it was just this shared like hilarity because I was just like, Keith, do you know about this? And he goes, yes, I know a lot about this.
Becky says I look like the other guys that she's like
attracted
has
to.
celebrity crushes
Which
on,
is really
like John
sweet.
Krasinski.
Yeah, I
or
see more
Shawn
John
Mendes.
Krasinski.
I get that a little bit, but still, no. I don't look. That's nice.
I mean,
All right, so Zach's drawing glasses on Shawn Mendes. Actually,
it kind of helps.
getting close.
You guys,
I think it's
you are
adorable
all
that
you are
she
all
thinks it.
objectively wrong.
You look closer to Shawn Mendes than like Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that you're going to have to do another retraction from Becky soon, probably about what we just talked about.
No, she's going to stand by that. I fully believe she'll stand by that because that's what she thinks.
Is he like an exception for her? If Shawn was like, "Hey, Rebecca, I'd love you to come back to my dressing room."
Oh, on the list?
Oh, we've made a deal. Yeah. That Shawn Mendes is on there. Jennifer Lawrence is on there.
For both?
For both.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Because like if Shawn Mendes, I mean, I kind of want to be a part of it. Like why wouldn't I want to be a part of it? I want to just hear about it. He's very hot. It's like, do you want to enter a 3-way with a celebo?
Probably I'd be the only one with a guy. Yeah, I appreciate y'all's flexibility, but
yeah.
if you haven't had a dick in your mouth by this point, you're not going to have one.
No, I don't think I'm gonna suck his dick.
You want to do like gentle stuff, romantic
Gentle,
stuff.
romantic things. Maybe a kiss on the neck. Maybe
That's what I was thinking.
You want to kiss Shawn Mendes on the neck? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a kiss me on the neck.
It's nice.
I don't know.
It's really nice.
It's gonna be one of those things when I'm in that situation. this year, gotta put what you want into the universe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I appreciate the openness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a dream we were doing the touring show last night in a high school auditorium, and we did it all out of order. And we were also waiting on delivery food, so we kept like checking to see if our food was there. Very bizarre dream, but that's what I took.
The new year is upon us. You know what resolution I really want to conquer in 2020?
No, I actually don't.
Well, I want to sleep better because everyone knows I have insomnia.
You don't sleep enough at all.
No, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about everything, and I just want my bed to really tuck me in at night.
Well, you could be using a Sleep Number bed.
Really?
Oh yeah, you've heard of Sleep Number by now. unless
Yeah,
you're living
they're
under a rock.
everywhere. I love it.
Yeah, they're great.
You pick a number,
I
right?
always wanted one. You
Yeah.
pick a number.
I want to know what my number
You get to
is.
lay down. You find out your sleep number, what you like in the softness, what you like in the firmness. So the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, it allows you to adjust on each side to your ideal firmness, comfort, and support. It also senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you sleeping comfortably through the night. Wow, that's cool.
And the Sleep IQ technology inside the bed tracks how you're sleeping and gives you personalized insights for your best sleep. Sounds like that's what I need.
It's the smartest choice for better sleep and the best bed for couples because you know how couples disagree.
Discover proven quality sleep with the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Save $1,000 on a Queen Special Edition smart bed. Now $1,799 during the January sale.
You save $1,000 on a Queen Special Edition smart bed, which is now only $1,799 during the January sale. That's amazing.
It's almost a third.
Only at a Sleep Number store or at sleepnumber.com/cadence. That's CADENCE. Sleepnumber.com/cadence to get $1,000 off a Queen Special Edition smart bed.
Because you're a queen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had some kind of not so great dreams, but I guess maybe it's based on what's happening in general in the world right now.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I think is really on people's minds. Australia is currently undergoing one of the worst wildfire disasters in history. And yeah, there's just a lot of political stuff.
It's definitely, although it's been like a fun first 7 days, like personally in my life, I think it's been a really difficult first 7 days of a new year for the world. Like,
Yeah.
It's been Australia
horrible.
is literally, the whole thing's on fire.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. And for us Californians who like deal with wildfires, like we kind of, I don't know if people even, you can't even grasp it until you see those pictures where it's like orange, like there's no, the picture is orange. It's
Yeah.
orange and red. And I've never seen that before.
Like the entire continent.
So at the end of vacation, I really wasn't checking social media. And on the last day of vacation is when news was announced that Trump had ordered a attack on Iran. And so I found myself very despondent and very upset. And there was a tweet from a friend of ours, Saeed Jones, that I think kind of encapsulates this feeling, which it's really difficult to, he considers the personal political. And so it's very hard to reconcile having your life be fantastic when your political life is in turmoil and a mess. And I've found myself in that situation where my life is great. I'm having about as good a time as I possibly could. I'm in Mexico City with my girlfriend. I'm having this wonderful time. Our careers are thriving.
I mean, you saw cats, for God's sake.
I'm on top of the world over here. I'm living the dream. But the world is a mess, and some things are happening that are really scary and are really bad. I implore you to go research and look at what our country has done in terms of coups and in terms of destabilization and the lies that have kept us entrenched in the Middle East for the past 20 to 50 years. I want to send my and our love to the civilians of Iran. I assume that you're very scared right now and very confused. And okay, so I was posting on social media. I was sharing my trip. And then this news came out and I felt instantly gross. I found myself almost embarrassed to care about the things that I care about.
Be showing yourself having a good time.
To be showing myself having a good time. And then also it's the new year. And so I have all of these resolutions, right? I have these things that I want to tackle for the new year. And a part of it is recommitting myself to the narrative stories that I want to tell. And as a creative person, the stories I want to tell are very fucking silly. I like writing silly things.
right,
I mean, if you watch our channel, if you see like Keith sitting on Eugene's lap is like something that gives me so much thrill. I understand. I'll yield the mic in a second. This is like therapy for me at the moment. I understand the necessity for distraction, and I certainly don't want to say that you're not allowed to smile and laugh in times of trouble, because I know, fuck, I need it and you need it, and that's probably why you come to us. Is not to be brought down, but to be uplifted. But I find it hard sometimes, and I'm wondering how you guys react to that.
My thing I'm most irritated by right now is just already seeing like political spinning on different networks of how you're supposed to even interpret this. It just already, there have been like pundits on like Fox News being like, these Democratic presidential candidates feel this way about this. I'm like, good Lord, this is happening right now. There's people getting killed. This is like, you're going to make this into like an attack on a specific candidate who probably didn't even say anything yet, because this is all happening. I'm sure every camp is terrified of what to say about it, because there's an election happening this year. I mean, this year is going to be probably a shit show. You know, you want every new year to be like, this is the year we get it all back together. It's going to be great. But it's an election year, and election years are always a shit show. And now we have like the top of this year started off pretty rough. So that's not a great sign of things to come. So I think for me, like that is why entertainment exists at all, is to help you have a 2-hour escape in a movie theater. I mean, that's how our country has done it forever. That's part of how media got so big here, and like the talkies and the various movies that were happening at the time were because that was the only way you could escape being in a war, or having your family at war, or being in gross poverty, depending on when your grandparents grew up. So I think for me, entertainment is like the most necessary thing. But I do get that it's tough to like, because Instagram is like, it's entertainment, but it's also like your life.
Yeah.
Right. So that blends that line of like, I'm showing how, I check out my new car, or check out, I'm on a beach looking sexy. Me and Becky are hanging out with Shawn Mendes. What happens next?
neck kissing, apparently.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, I feel similarly. Anytime I read the news, I just feel awful. I feel really sad. I feel scared. And I alternate between just like going down a rabbit hole and consuming every single thing that I can, and kind of that way of processing my feelings. And then the opposite, which is pushing it completely away and trying to do something totally different. And for me as a performer and a comedian, sometimes performing and doing something goofy and unrelated can be a way of like finding that escape. It's a balance that everyone has to navigate, because if you completely escape, if you are like, like shooting up heroin all the time.
Yeah, if you're shooting up heroin all the time,
like the ultimate, like
stop.
The ultimate escapist type of thing, right?
That's
like,
true.
But the tough thing about election years is like, there's no finding common ground or finding things that make people feel more together. You're looking for differences,
even more divisive,
and looking for like
I don't know if we
make you farther apart.
Have we come into an election like already so divided?
Yeah,
like before, like this is going to be like we're
probably the Civil War.
Maybe that was a while ago.
Yeah. Like nobody wants war and suffering.
I think that, Zach, to your point, I don't think you should ever try to nullify your own personal expression because you selectively have been affected by something. It's tough because inevitably what you deeply care about will affect your expression in your work. Like, I would say that even in your silliness, you have some points to be made. I think a lot of, like, even my personal expression with film has been mired in an upbringing that has constantly been informed by my family's dying in the Korean War. So my entire like American experience has been othered. I'm Asian, and a lot of Asians and people from Africa and South America probably can relate. But it's like essentially this idea of foreign powers that took over your country, and then you were displaced. And so it's interesting because I feel like that has always been like a through line of everything that I've sort of looked at and experienced. But human history, and unfortunately with the past century, a lot of America's hand in it. We unfortunately can't control a lot of it. What we can do is try to help one another, be good to one another, express ourselves in ways that hopefully are intelligent, but also it's at times silly. Like it is hard because in social media, it certainly feels more callous because you are presenting your lifestyle and the currency is more like, look where I'm at, look what I'm doing, look how pretty I am. That certainly feels, I think, like shallower. But if you, I think, have your mind and heart in the right place, hopefully what we can offer is something that will make people think. But I think it's in our openness to engage that we bring a lot more value as those who are trying to just make sense of it all.
When something like this happens, you, as a person, get a feeling of helplessness. Like, I don't want this. What can I do to prevent this? But the four of us we have a platform, so then we feel always there's like a pressure of, oh, can I do something with the platform that I have and the people that follow my work to help change things or do something? So that might be kind of some of that pressure or that feeling maybe that you're having or that we're all having. And I guess I'm wondering, like, what do you guys do to combat the feeling of helplessness?
It's tough because I think, while we have a platform that the people who watch our platform probably already agree with us about a lot of our opinions and views. And it's like the what you want is a platform that reaches people who disagree with you and reaches them in a way where maybe they change their mind or
at least hear you.
Or at least hear you. But I mean, it's also like hard to change people's minds, and to say you're changing people's minds assumes that you're right. And I'm sure that we're right about a lot of things. We're probably wrong about some things, and because life, you grow older and you look back and you're like, oh, I was wrong about that. But there's so much going on in the world, so it's hard to like even look at your platform and be like, okay, I'll use this to change the world. But you won't, because you're not going to reach the people who disagree with you, because they don't follow you, because they don't follow the people like you. So you're really just it's that echo chamber sort of situation. You can't tell someone they're stupid and wrong and expect them to change their mind. No one responds well to that. Like if you tell someone they're stupid and wrong, they'll go, fuck you. And of course they would, because no one wants to be told that. So it's really hard to help people see that they need to change for themselves. And sometimes people think you're telling them they need to change so that it helps you. So like I'm telling you to change so it'll help me, but I'm actually hoping you'll change because it will actually help you. And that's really a hard message to convey.
My palms and back are sweating, which shows me that I do have a true physiological response to this stuff. It's like it really, going back to the beginning, like it really, nothing upsets me on this level. I think times like this kind of crack open my consciousness and my awareness of, art should be reflecting, and these are the things that need reflecting on in, again, these extraordinary times. And so for me, it's partially a refocus. It is this moment where I go, okay, yes, as a few days pass, I'm not gonna stop joking. I'm not gonna stop laughing. That's probably what I do best, and probably the lane that I'm gonna stay in. But at the same time, I'm going to try and figure out, how do I channel my work positively? And also, as I have these platforms, my social media, this podcast included, I'm not gonna tiptoe around the things that I see as bullshit. I'm not gonna tiptoe around the things that I see as problematic with the world, because I think that the president instigating war with another country, that is bad. The president threatening cultural sites, which is a war crime, is bad, and we should be shouting about it. It's bad. I'm not going to tiptoe around this shit. If we don't talk about it, we are complicit. If we don't take the opportunity to try and help, we are enabling evil. And so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going to go moving forward. I don't want to group them together, but Australia is on fire. And if we don't shout from the rooftops about climate change, we are not helping. So we're going to keep laughing. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to tell you jokes. But right now, this is what my life is. This is what's upsetting me. This is what's on my mind. And it was impossible for me to come here today and not talk about it. I think it was impossible for all of us to not get some version of this off our chests. I hope that in the coming weeks, we don't have to talk about this ever again. I have a feeling we might, and fucking get ready. I know I'm going to figure out a way to laugh through it and make it entertaining, but that's the world we live in.
And if you're listening to this and you want to know what you can do, if you're a young person, you haven't registered to vote yet, register to vote. The deadline to vote in Democratic primaries is March 3rd, coming up quick, so get on it. And that's like a way that, your vote actually literally counts. I mean, that it is like the last election was swung by like what,
Please.
6,000 people in Wisconsin or something.
Read about your local shit, because local shit directly affects you like tomorrow, and that could affect your rent prices where you live. There's important stuff that happens in those elections that they kind of bury, because sometimes people don't want you to vote on them, and there's a lot of important things to vote on all the time.
And then if you want to donate, please donate to Australian relief organizations, redcross.org.au, koalahospital.org.au, cfs.foundation.org.au, giveit.org.au, cfc.vic.gov.au, and rfs.nsw.gov.au.
We got the links.
We'll put the links in the description.
Nothing more fun than reading out URLs. You ever had someone read out a URL for you as you're typing it in?
In your car is type in a specific URL that you just heard.
But I think like that's we all have this feeling, right, of like, okay, hopelessness or ignoring it. And of course, my feeling of being so down, this is a thing that I need to look in the mirror and accept and not ignore, swallow it, internalize it. But now you can't just churn it out with more shit. You can't lash out against the world. You can't be despondent and sad. So I think the challenge that we have, and frankly, the challenge that all of you have, is how do you take this? How do you figure out what is the positive? What do you do with this? How do you make good on the world? And also, I'm going to say this to myself, I'm going to say this to everyone out there, don't let it get you down so much. Don't let it ruin your life. Give yourself permission to laugh. Give yourself permission to sign off from social media. Give yourself permission to go watch a silly movie because you need it.
The most any of us can do in our own power is become more knowledgeable of what's happening in the world, but also understand how that will inform you as a person who can grow and become better and be better to other people. Because so much of what this is rooted in, these problems of ignoring climate change and creating wars for self-interest, is rooted in a distinct sense of selfishness and evil and a disregard for other human life. And the one thing you can combat that with is by doing the opposite in your daily life, is valuing other humans, is discussing the value of people, is understanding history and talking about why education about it is important. The greatest change I hope that we can create as individuals is creating more, God, for lack of a better term, like, empathy and love in the space we have, because hopefully that will spread more than the hate that we're trying to combat.
The world needs compassion, and often that's compassion for the disenfranchised, but unfortunately that's also compassion for people who you don't agree with.
And if you're mad, go to Twitter.
Yeah,
that is where I will be spewing a lot of anger, but that is the place for it.
That's where it goes.
Well, if the world is on the brink of war, you might need advice.
Oh boy! It's a fun segment. It gives us levity. It makes our moods uplift a little bit, and it maybe helps our lives. But there's bad stuff going on, and sometimes you need advice from Miles. And that advice goes for fucking Miles. Let me tell you what. There's advice that goes for Miles with Miles.
Bonsignore.
Oh, it's Miles Nation, innit?
Whoa.
Gosh.
Oh no.
What's up, everybody? How we doing, Dublin?
Miles is
Where
like,
are you
I don't.
from?
I
Are you
can
supposed to be
follow any
Irish?
act.
You Irish, Aussie, British?
Do you want to be a sneaky little ninja in the bedroom?
What accent is this?
Do you want to
Jason
be
Statham.
slim and take really good shits?
Oh, well, now you're talking my language.
Do you want your little arse to explode?
No.
Get a big arse juicer.
All right, we'll make your ass explode.
This is
Depending
true.
on what you juice.
Get a juicer and put it in your arm. And what you're going to want to do is make celery juices, orange juices, spinach creams, kale juices,
This will make you a ninja in the bedroom.
apple juices. Well, if
You're
you're
so skinny.
slipping on juices, milady, you're going to have a slim little butt.
Your accents are more inconsistent than mine.
Recently, my girlfriend brought home a juicer from 1950 that her mother gave her.
Whoa.
And
It
your
is-
girlfriend's name is Sheila.
That's enough. She brought home a very old juicer. It is very heavy. It is deeply heavy. It looks like a motor that you would use to pull a tractor. And we have this thing on our counter, and it makes juice, and it makes creamy juice. And I love drinking juice. And it's
From 1950?
You got
It's
70
really old.
years of juice built up.
It
in
is
there.
loud is it?
huge. It is loud as fuck. It is so loud. It is enormous. And it like when you run it, if you put your finger in there, toast. You're getting sucked in.
Oh God.
It is like a garbage disposal, but just on the counter.
You should get a more current juicer.
Well, you'd think, but sometimes I don't make the rules about what juicer. So what you're gonna want to go do is get out a juicer right now. There, times are tough. Okay, the country's in turmoil, but if you sip a little juice, kale juice to be exact, Ned, you're gonna want to get vitamins. You're gonna want to get minerals. You're gonna want to get a stinky juice. Now, just remember when you're talking about juice, if there's apple juice in your juice, it's cheating.
Yeah, it's sweet.
No.
It's cheating.
But not even just
I'm
an
out.
apple?
Well,
I'll see y'all next week.
And to clarify, juice different than smoothie.
that's right, Zach.
Miles, apple juice in a juice is what makes it taste good.
Exactly, and that's why it's cheating.
It's not cheating because you get all the other good stuff, but then it also
And
tastes good.
sugar.
You want your juice to be stinky.
Juicing?
No.
Stinky.
No.
Stinky.
No, we need
Add
to-
a little lemon.
My
Add
good
lemon.
friend.
Ginger.
Lemon and ginger's good.
Smoothies are the Bible, but juicing is the Old Testament. You need to learn to
Yeah.
love life through suffering.
Yeah, but I feel like smoothies are better for you because you're getting all the fiber and other stuff too.
and you're getting protein, maybe some little peanut butter.
I had a smoothie this morning.
Fuck, I'm hungry for a smoothie
I do
now.
smoothies every day. I will tell you, I don't know what it is. Celery juice is the world's greatest colonic.
Oh yeah.
It makes you shit out every little thing inside of you. If you gotta purge that bod,
Yeah.
celery juice is the trick. And I'm talking instant. You don't need to go get your Miralax or your other
Some people
Linzess.
really hate celery juice.
Yeah, it's not good. And because it makes you shit everywhere.
It'll make you blast off, yeah.
Or like the taste. They don't like the taste.
Well, sure.
I think it tastes.
That was in You season 2. He drinks a celery juice and vomits all over.
Oh, we're not talking about
Spoiler
season 2
alert.
of You?
Oh, a little. I'm enjoying it. It's a blast.
Did you just get on You?
No, of course I watched you.
You watched You? Okay.
of course.
I finished
season.
it.
I got 2 episodes left.
Ariel said last night, "Do you want to watch this show? You? I've heard it's good. It's like about a guy that stalks somebody." I'm like, really selling it there.
Yeah.
It's pretty problematic, but there's also like
It's so fun, though.
it helps that Penn Badgley is so self-aware. I guess he's like very aware. He tried to equate it to like something like, oh, it's a allegory for white supremacy, and all the Twitter people were like, no, shut up, stop talking smart and murder people
It's
and
a
be hot.
serial killer story, but told as a love story. So
Yeah.
it's like an unreliable narrator brought to
Yeah.
the nth degree, where you're hearing his internal monologue declaring love, and everything that he's doing is for the love of you. It's a blast. It's
Season
fun.
1 was New York. Season 2 is in LA. So because he's such a dry, like self-righteous New York type, he is constantly like the writers are harpooning LA every scene they can with every character.
I've been offended a few times.
Well, there's literally the place he works at is a place called Anavarin, which is Nirvana backwards, which is
Erewhon.
Erewhon, which is an actual like grocery store that Zach frequents, which is nowhere backwards.
Hilarious.
Erewhon
yeah.
is the Whole Foods of Whole Foods. It's like,
It's like
is.
expensive.
It's so
expensive.
You want to
Nowhere
spend $60 on a bag of
And
nuts?
Zach's like, I would love to go to Erewhon to grab a juice, and I'm like, those are like $20,
Yeah.
Zach.
I know, but when you have as many stomach problems as me, you're willing to do whatever it takes.
You're throwing down 20s on juice.
Yeah.
All right, well, get your celery juice, shit your brains out. War is bad. This has been the TryPod.
I guess Keith, take us out with that TryPod theme song.
Get your celery juice, shit your brains out. War is bad. It's the TryPod.
Until next time, stay beautiful.